There is one rule in the northern woods: never eat another person to survive. Break it, and something moves in. When deep winter arrives, the northern woods become a landscape of absolute isolation. Hundreds of miles of black spruce are buried under heavy drifts. Temperatures drop to lethal extremes, and the lakes freeze solid. The natural food sources disappear beneath a thick crust of ice and snow. Survival for early inhabitants and trappers meant sealing themselves inside heavy log cabins. They locked their doors against the elements and waited for the thaw. This extreme environmental lockdown creates a psychological vacuum. As the months drag on and the threat of starvation creeps closer, the mind degrades, testing the strict limits of human morality. For the indigenous peoples of these northern regions, the Wendigo is a profound, living cultural belief. This entity represents a serious spiritual consequence, existing far beyond the triviality of campfire ghost stories or cartoon monsters. The entity is the literal, physical manifestation of greed. It is the embodiment of starvation and the complete loss of humanity. For communities surviving in these woods, the legend functioned as a vital, unbreakable law. It ensured that, even in the darkest months of the year, the community stayed intact. During the 19th century, commercial trappers pushed deep into this territory. The fur trade placed men in the center of the deep woods. When heavy snowfalls severed their supply lines, the men inside these remote trading posts experienced a desperate claustrophobia, trapped alongside the animal pelts they harvested. Surviving the freezing cold requires a massive caloric intake. Dwindling winter meat stores rarely provide enough energy to keep a human body warm. Inside these isolated cabins, the oil lamps burn low and the food runs out completely. A creeping psychological fracture takes hold of the mind. Actual handwritten court records and outpost journals document the outcome. They detail historical cases of starving individuals facing agonizing choices and breaking the starvation taboo. These grim historical documents prove the necessity of the Wendigo taboo. It was the sole boundary keeping starving communities from consuming themselves. The curse has a precise trigger. The exact moment a starving human consumes the flesh of another person to survive, the transformation begins. The punishment imparts a supernatural hunger. It is an urge for human meat that can never be satisfied. With every meal it consumes, the entity grows larger and more emaciated. It is trapped in a permanent state of starvation and freezing cold. Oversized tracks slowly fill with fresh snow, and a strange, dark shape shifts just past the tree line. If you want more folklore told properly, subscribe to Curious Caper, one legend researched every week. By committing the ultimate sin to survive, the human is transformed into a creature that can never survive its own hunger. The legend of the Wendigo acts as an ancient, unbreakable law that ensures the survival of the community. It is a terrifying line drawn in the snow. It dictates that humanity must not abandon its soul, even when the physical body is dying. The curse remains dormant, and the woods remain safe, but only for those who respect this absolute moral boundary. Imagine you are entirely alone in the present-day reality of a freezing, isolated northern forest. There is a sudden, terrifying drop in the wind. Your breath freezes in the cold air, and the bare trees fall utterly, completely silent. You are alone in a winter forest. The trees go completely silent, and somewhere ahead of you, a child starts crying. What do you do?